Coming from a background of like coal miners and teachers and preachers and you know what I mean, like that teaches you something about life, I think, because like my family has always been like hardworking people, and I feel like there's sometimes a misconception on people from the South being like lazy hillbillies or something like that, and it's not that at all. Like there are some people who may live like that if they want, but like for my family, I always had really good examples of like, you know what, like no matter what, they're hardworking. We might have been really poor, but we never were like wanting for anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that was special to me, and I think that growing up on a little farm, just very isolated in the back of the woods somewhere with like my grandparents were my neighbors and my mom and my aunt, like all three of us just like had these little 3 houses out there in the middle of the woods. And I think that just like being able to come home to that and just be where I was loved and accepted was really great. Like when I was at school, maybe I was a little bit more nervous and shy, but like, you know, when I was home, I just felt super comfortable.
Right.
And I think that you can hear that sometimes in my songs because I like to just tell stories. You know, storytelling was also a huge part of my life growing up. Like my family, they're all storytellers, and that's just like in my blood is to tell stories. And I just think that really affected the way I wrote my songs.
What does your family do?
My mom's a nurse. Mm-hmm. My dad's a barber. And my grandpa used to work at the electric company. My mama's a teacher. But my aunt, my mom's sister, she was a musician, and she's the one who kind of taught me how to like play piano, and she kind of really got me started in my interest in music.
Right.
Yeah.
How old were you when she started showing?
Oh my gosh, I was a baby because she used to play piano at church, and so we'd go to church every Sunday, and they would let me just go sit beside her on the piano bench, and like I would kind of play along, even if it was like a little bad. They didn't care because I was just like I wasn't being like instructive. Yeah, I was like actually genuinely interested in it.
Yeah.
And so that's how I learned. I started singing in different ensembles. Like I was in a jazz group and a black gospel group, and I was really under the wing of different mentors that became like huge inspirations for me as well, and kind of taught me, oh, you can sing like your country folk kind of stuff, but also you have potential to do this, you have potential to do whatever you want, and that was exciting to me too.
Yeah. I am dying to know how you like describe the alternative. I think that's the funniest thing ever.
The alternative. Yeah, I just think that it's like a different take on folk and country, but make it a little bit more modern.
Right.
So I kind of like I used to say I was a blend of Joni Mitchell and Justin Timberlake, and I feel like I still kind of relate to that. But I feel like my influences are kind of like a Casey Musgraves or like a Phoebe Bridgers.
Right.
Just this like folky kind of crossover, you know, that's what I would think. Folky pop crossover.
Right.
Yeah. And what I've been doing is taking these popular songs that are like pop or any kind of genre and just turning them and doing my acoustic singer-songwriter thing with it. And I'm like, what's a good way to sell this the alternative? You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, I want to hear that.
People eat it up. Paris Hilton eats it up.
Paris Hilton eats it up. I know, she just was like posting about me the other day, and that was huge. I mean, I worshipped her as a kid.
Stars Are Blind is such a good song.
Stars Are Blind is an amazing song. I actually sang that at the Carolyn Kingsbury concert. I covered it.
Right.
And she was like, she saw my TikTok and she was like, will you please sing that song at the show? And I was like, yeah, so it's really fun.
Who else like has noticed like your TikToks and everything? Because they're pretty viral. Like you have a lot of followers on Instagram and TikTok.
Thanks. I mean, it's just been from like working and trying to just keep posting consistently, because social media is like the bane of my existence. Like I really don't like it at all, but it's necessary.
Right. It's like how you sell music now, basically.
Yeah. Who are some other ones? Well, Carole King actually posted me on her Instagram and was like, love your rendition of my song, and I was just like, that was a huge moment for me, you know. She was one of my idols. Doechii, I don't know if you've heard of Doechii, but I got to write with her.
Really?
Yeah, in LA. She invited me over to her house. I don't know how much I can talk about what we did, but yeah, I got to write with her, and it was freaking amazing. I mean, that was just a huge moment. Oh my God, Yeva has commented on my stuff. She's an idol of mine. Brandy Carlisle follows me on all my socials. John Legend, of course. Just all the girls. They love me.
They you up. You said you moved around a bit, Kentucky, LA, which I didn't know you lived in LA for a time and now Nashville. What's the timeline on that?
So after I graduated, I moved to Nashville, and that was February 2020. So a few days later was when COVID happened,
right,
and everything shut down. So that was really, really isolating and sad, because I moved here ready to take over the world. And I had just finished up filming The Voice too. I don't know if I did that, but I filmed that, moved here, and then kind of while that was airing, I was already living in Nashville and ready to just take over. So I was here for 2 years, and then I got the opportunity to go to LA, and so I just drove there. I packed up my car and drove there and lived there for a full year. And then I had 30 songs. I was working with this team, and they all got shelved, and it was super traumatizing.
So you were there to make music?
Yeah, I was there to just do music, and
were you with a label or?
I wasn't with a label, but I was working with a team, kind of trying to develop artist development kind of vibe, and we recorded and wrote 30 songs or whatever, and it was amazing opportunity. I actually recorded all of that in Toronto, Canada. I was there for a month working, and then I did LA, and they were just kind of you have more success in LA than you would in Nashville. LA is where it's happening, and I was just I've always wanted to live there and give it a try, so I did, and it was a full year. I did my year, and I was no, I can't live there. I mean, if I have to someday, maybe I will again, but personally, it was culture shock. Coming from where we're from, you know what I mean? It was a culture shock.
What did you really not like about it?
I just think that it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of, and it's isolating too. I thought that I had more friends and opportunities than I did. Then when I got there was when my songs got shelved, and then it was good luck, and I was just there alone. But I did have some amazing opportunities. Don't get me wrong. I got to, like I said, write with Dochi and meet some of my idols and sing and open and go on tour. I got to go on tour and have some amazing opportunities from living there for sure. But I just wanted to be closer to my family. I was there for a year, and I just missed my friends and family so bad. So I had to come back and be closer to everybody. Yeah.
So I only found out this very recently. I had to dig for it on the internet, but then you mentioned it. You were on The Voice in 2020.
Yeah.
What the hell was that like?
It was a really good experience, actually. It was really fun. Yeah. I had I was in school at UKU,
right.
and I had a friend that had done it the season before, and she got really far. And she got to sing with Jennifer Hudson all the time, and she's one of my really good friends, and I was like, what's the worst that could happen? So actually they contacted me through Instagram, and they were like, would you want to come audition? And I was like, I don't know, I never really wanted to do reality TV singing kind of stuff. But after seeing her on the show, I was like, she now is living her dream. She got to work with her idols, and then the worst that can happen, you get a no. Cool, right. Whatever, big deal. So I ended up doing it and made it all the way to work. I was on John Legend's team, and now he follows my socials and still reaches out sometimes, comments on my stuff, and he's been a great support, and it was really amazing to work with him. I think I learned that being an artist is different than being a singer. I think that anybody can be a good singer, but not everybody is an artist, a fully fledged artist, which comes with branding yourself, marketing yourself as a brand. You know what I mean? And I think that if I would have went into the show with a little more of that, I could have maybe done better or won or something. You know what I mean? But I was just I don't know. They're what kind of music do you sing? I'm I don't know, you know what I mean? And I thought that they were gonna kind of help me find my niche, and they were like, okay, let's just do R&B. You're good at that. So they really marketed me as this R&B guy, and then I discovered that I didn't feel like that was who I was, and I've been running from this country, alternative, queer person like my whole life. I just was like, no. Now, after that, I've come to embrace it. I'm like, I think that you have to just like embrace what makes you unique. Like the fact that I was raised singing bluegrass and country and playing my guitar, and then I was trying to like completely forget about that and just do something totally opposite. But now I'm just gonna like lean into that and kind of continue to just do whatever makes me unique and embrace it, you know?
What was it like producing and mixing then? You had like a team for that, or like?
Yeah, so Washington and New York were both produced by Hannah Elliott as well. She's a member of this band called Overcoats, who I used to love when I was like a teenager in college as well. And then I got to open for them on tour, which was just a full circle moment. And then write songs with her and work with her was just crazy. But yeah, I mean, I had Washington already written and I just played it for her. And I was just like, I really want to put this song out. And she was like, I would love to help. Like, let's come up with some stuff. So like, went over to her house and her studio and just put it together in like a day. And then that's what you're hearing. You know what I mean? And sometimes I can write a song in like 20 minutes and be like, this is like the best thing I've ever written. And then sometimes if I sit down, I'm like, I'm going to write a song right now. Sometimes I can struggle with it just because I never want to feel pressure. I try to be as cozy and comfortable as possible at all times. And so if I'm sitting down and I'm writing something and it's just like not coming to me, it's just like, I can't think of anything to say, or I've played these same guitar chords for like an hour and nothing's happening, I'll just put it down and come back to it later or never again maybe. Like I have so many songs that are just like one verse or a verse and a chorus and I never came back to that. Sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, I forgot about that. Let me finish that. You know what I mean? So have a bank full of all that kind of stuff. And then typically I just record it on my phone like a work tape. But if it's something that I'm going to actually release, then I'm like, okay, I really like this. I have to make a demo. And then that starts a whole new process of like actually taking the song and doing something with it. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money to just put out one song. That song itself probably cost me $2,000. You know what I mean? And it's just like when you're doing it all independently, it's a lot. So that's another reason why it's hard for me to continue to put out music all the time, because it's expensive. You got to find like the right team for you that's willing to help you.
I guess more detail, what was it like growing up queer in Eastern Kentucky, just Kentucky in general?
But yeah, I don't know, I always felt a little different, but I was pretty quiet about it because like I said, the churches that we grew up in were never accepting. They made it clear. And then I've also had experiences like before I even knew I was gay, like I had grown adults telling me like, you're not allowed to ride in my car because you're a faggot or whatever. And I'm just like, well, okay. Like I didn't even know that I was gay, you know what I mean? And they're just like assuming that of me right away. I didn't come out until I was 25 on The Voice. That was actually the first time I came out.
Really?
Yeah, like I went to the first audition and I was just being myself, and they were like, tell me about yourself. And I was like, yeah, I'm like this queer singer-songwriter. And I was out to like myself and my friends and stuff like that, but I hadn't told my parents yet. And they loved me, and I was like, yeah, my friends call me Gayle Swift and Gacy Musgraves and all this other stuff, and they were like, that's so funny. And then as it got further and further, they were like, no, like literally, like your story is the Gacy Musgraves thing, that's hilarious, and we need to put that on TV. And I was like, oops, like I gotta tell my mom and dad first. And
how did they react?
They were as nice as they could possibly. It was great. Like I was so lucky. I texted them though. I just texted them both separately. It was just like, y'all know I'm gonna be on TV, and they want to talk about my sexuality and being gay and what it was like to be gay in Kentucky. And I just want to tell you guys before you watch TV and see that, and that'd be the first time you hear it. And they were both just like, that's fine. Like we love you. We always kind of knew. And my mom was like, have you told your grandparents? And I was like, no. I was like, you can send them my way if they have any questions. She was like, okay. But I'm so lucky that for the most part, I feel like very accepted in the community, actually. I just went back home like last weekend and I went to the doctor, and the lady taking my blood was just like, I just want you to know that like everybody from here, like everybody here is like supporting you, and we just love you, and we're so proud of you, and you're just like kicking ass, and like we are watching everything you do, and like we're so proud. And I'm just like, that's amazing. Like that's all I ever wanted to hear as a kid.
Right.
You know?
Because it wasn't like that.
Because it wasn't like that. No, I felt, like I said, scared. I was just like, I don't belong here. And yeah, so that's another just kind of full circle moment. So I just think it was just natural for me. It's ingrained in me. As an Appalachian and as a queer person, we both of those groups of people have stories to tell. When you mix them together, that's just even better. You know what I mean? So everything I write comes from that perspective, you know. Everything I sit down and write, and I just want to be as honest as possible without like really literally writing just a journal and putting it out, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be as honest and as open as possible, and just because I want other people to be able to resonate with that, and hopefully that they feel that they're not alone. Like I felt like I was alone when I was a little boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not. For some reason, just I found music and it really changed my life. It made me feel safe when I didn't necessarily feel safe. Like being able to skip the bus and learn how to sing and stuff like that is like where I found my own like true identity. Is just like in that. I was like, this is where I belong. So even if I want to do something else, like I just feel like at the end of the day, I'm always going to come back to making music, just because it's just, I don't know, I just think it's just natural in me. It's meant to be that. Even if I want to run from it and not do it, I just have to embrace it. So I just think like whatever you're passionate about, you can embrace it and make it like enjoyable for you. But when it becomes to a point where you're like not enjoying it anymore, then you need to reevaluate your relationship with it. So do what you want until you don't want to do it anymore, and then reevaluate and you'll figure it out. That's what I always think. You know, I've been through a lot and I've worked really hard, and I'm just really grateful that there are people that have stuck with me through all of this. And I think that like, you know, we're going to reap the benefits. It's going to all work out. It's going to work out. I think that people are going to be like, I've been with this guy since day one, since he was on YouTube and he was 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like people are going to be able to say that, and that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's it.